Mozambique Defense Armed Forces. The Battle of Palma is an ongoing battle over control of Palma in Mozambique, between Mozambican security forces and Islamist rebels. The siege is part of the insurgency in Cabo Delgado, which started in 2017 and resulted in the death of thousands of people, mainly local civilians. By early March 2021, Islamist rebels had begun to besiege the town of Palma. The rebels beheaded civilians from nearby villages as well as refugees who were trying to flee the town. On the 7th of March, the rebels took the border post at Nonje at the border with Tanzania on the Ruvuma River, isolating Palma from the rest of Mozambique. The civilians who remained in Palma were facing starvation. The exact identity of the insurgents at Palma is unclear. One rebel identified himself as member of Al-Shabaab, a local name for the group Ansar al-Sunnah. However, other reports claimed that the attackers were identified as belonging to the Islamic State's Central Africa province. The Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant claimed credit for the operation. More than 100 militants, split into two groups, stormed and assaulted the city of Palma and carried out coordinated terrorist attacks at different sites. Police stations and checkpoints were initially targeted, and then banks were robbed. Residential neighborhoods were attacked too, resulting in the death of several local civilians. People were also shot in the streets, with some of the victims then beheaded. The assault occurred as French energy giant Total resumed work at the site. The attack, however, appeared to be pre-planned. A gas project was targeted, killing both locals and foreign workers. About 200 survivors escaped from the scene and took refuge at the Amarula Hotel. The militants attacked the hotel too, killing some people at the entrance. About 20 holed up at the Bonati Hotel. As soon as the rebels had assumed some control over Palma, over 100 more rebels arrived as reinforcements, blocking off streets inside the city and capturing villages around Palma. To reinforce the city, government forces sent several helicopters. However, the Mozambique Air Force helicopters piloted by Ukrainian mercenaries participated in the fighting, until one helicopter was damaged, after which the Air Force elements withdrew. The Dyke Advisory Group, a South African private security company working for Mozambique, used 3 light helicopters to fire at insurgents. However, they had to withdraw after they ran out of fuel on early the 26th of March. A nearby Mozambican army unit of 1,100 soldiers failed to assist those besieged in Palma, not wanting to weaken its own fortified position at Afingi, while Total reportedly refused to refuel the DAG's helicopters so that they could not directly return to Palma. On late the 26th of March, those at the Amarula Hotel decided to attempt a breakout, as no further assistance by government forces seemed to reach them. Assisted by some security forces, the hotel survivors tried to flee with 17 convoys. However, only 7 convoys successfully escaped from the scene, while the 10 others were attacked, with their occupants murdered, and others wounded and captured. At least 21 Mozambican soldiers were killed during the operation. A South African man who was driving one of the convoy's vehicles and a British citizen are confirmed killed during the attacks, with other foreigners suspected dead. A Portuguese citizen is confirmed wounded after being shot. Those who successfully broke through the rebel lines reached the beach. There, the South African DAG helicopters were able to evacuate them on the 27th of March. The mercenaries claimed that they had evacuated more than 20 people via helicopters. Some people managed to flee from Palma in boats. DAG helicopters continued to move around the city, trying to locate and rescue survivors. Meanwhile, the rebels had begun to loot and ravage the town, torching many buildings including the hotels as well as a clinic and destroying about 2/3 of the infrastructure. Later in the day, security sources claimed militants had seized control of the town, although fighting was still taking place around Palma. The insurgents, numbering more than 300 by then, had also cut off 4 more hotels in Palma where foreign workers still held out.